Hello, my name is Shelley. Thank you for tuning in to this video. I am just going to show you a couple of my favorite yoga postures that are great for stress relief. The first one is just coming to a seated shape that feels comfortable. And you can certainly do that leaning against a wall if sitting upright on the floor is not comfortable for you. One little tip I would offer to you is to prop your hips higher than your knees. And what happens when we do that is we just get a little tilt in our pelvis area as well as a nice support for the spine. And just a little elevation under the hips makes it easier to sit for longer periods of time also. So you can see if I just sat down on the floor, very quickly I'm going to start to want to slouch to feel more comfortable. But if I prop my seat up with a blanket and just even the back half of my seat or a book, or this is a yoga block, and I sit up a little bit higher so my hips come up higher than my knees, I just get enough of a shift here that I can sustain this and feel supported in a seated shape for much longer. So you can try that out if you'd like to. You can use pillows, blankets, whatever you have available to you at home to set yourself up comfortably. So once you find a seat, and you can be kneeling like this or in a cross-legged shape, just going to take the hand to the heart, one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. And take a couple rolls in the shoulders here, and eventually let the shoulders kind of land in the back behind you with their shoulder girdles. And I will take a swallow in the throat. Relax your face, maybe let the jaw fall a little relaxed, so the lower row of teeth falls away from the upper row. And just tune in here to your rhythm of breath. Maybe feel that physical expansion of breath on your inhale below your hands. And that release as you exhale. Just a couple times, tuning inward. Connecting to this inner rhythm we have within us. Just taking this moment to pause can make all the difference. Feeling into our breath, pausing, getting still, helps to quiet the minds, helps to kind of turn off all the distractions around us and just get present to what's happening in the here and now. Oftentimes that can be really hard for us. So even if you just have time to sit or stand and take 3 full breaths in and out is very beneficial. And if following the breath is challenging because the mind is so busy in that moment, one recommendation is to just give the mind kind of the job of being a commentator and silently repeat, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And repeat that a couple times, and that will, present moment thinking will help deliver you the more present moment feeling, which is where you get so many benefits. So the next posture I want to show is our standing forward fold. So our standing forward fold posture is really good for the spine, it's really good for introspection, it's really good for stress relief. So there are many benefits to this posture. We'll come up to standing. I like to use a block or a book to come into this posture just to make it a little bit more supportive. And we'll take our feet about hip widths apart and just bend the knees here, starting to fold forward. So the fold can be very gentle. The knees can bend really generously. The idea here is to release the weight of the head when you shake it out, so all those muscles that line the cervical spine can start to ungrip. Sometimes they'll even take a hand and give a little squeeze around the back of the neck just to invite it to soften. A block or book or pillows stacked up are nice just to give you something to hold on to, bringing the floor just a little bit closer. And then inviting the spine to just release here. It's really good for the health of your spine, right? And you can think about the spine, kind of our lumbar spine at the very bottom, and start to feel that release there. Maybe even heel toe the feet out a little wider if you have any pain or discomfort that you hold in your low back, and that will give you an even nicer release to the low back. And then our thoracic spine, the middle part of our spine, the largest part of the spine, we have 12 vertebrae there, really inviting a lot of release and space to this area of the spine. It's really good for us, helping the breath. And then our cervical spine at the top, right? Just maybe shake the head out a little bit. Nod the head yes and no. And take a couple breaths. You can sway forward and back, side to side, really feeling connected here at your feet. And then when you're ready, we'll heel to our feet in and just lower back down to the mat or your floor. From here, we'll come into our cat and cow postures. So in cat and cow, another great postures for your spine, also great for opening through the heart and the chest and the back. We're going to come into a tabletop shape. So the wrists are stacking below the shoulders, the hips are stacking right above the knees. And we'll inhale and open through the front body. So you can see this is our cow pose. The belly hangs heavy here. We're opening through the heart, looking up. And then on your exhales, we're rounding the spine up, letting the weight of the head release down. Pressing the mat away with the hands. And then inhale, just find a flow here. Inhale, open through the front body. And exhale to open through the back body. And take a couple more. Inhale, open through the front. Exhale to open through the back. And one more time, great. Inhale, lift up, open the front body. Feel all that space across the shoulders and the chest. And then right into cat pose, rounding the back up toward the ceiling. Let's come back to our tabletop pose here. And we'll send that right leg back. Just tucking the right toes under. The left arm will reach forward, cultivating a little bit of balance here. So the gaze is down at the floor. You might float that right foot up and find some balance, really reaching from one side of the room to the other. Make sure you're breathing. And then release. Next one, left toes tuck down onto the floor with the leg extended. Right arm reaches forward. Maybe you float that left leg up. Breathing in and out a couple times. And then lowering back down. If you want a little more of an active posture in between, you can tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, come into downward facing dog. And downward dog, our hands are separated wide like starfish. We're going to press our heels softly down. So they're going to likely be pretty elevated off the floor. So you don't want to press, just kind of let them be heavy actually, is a better way to describe that. Get kind of heavy in the heels just for a moment and then really soften them. So we'll redirect the energy to strengthening the quadriceps right here above the knees. So engage your quads, press the fingers wide apart, press through the thumb and pointer fingers, shake out the head, maybe pedal out the knees. And then we'll lower back down to the knees and the hands. Great, from here, we're going to shift onto our back. So coming all the way down to your back, just hug the knees into the chest. And just take a couple breaths here. Turn the head off to the right, and the head off to the left. And back to center. And we'll plant the feet down to the floor. Coming into just a nice pause here. So very similar to one of our first postures we started. And I'm just taking a couple of breaths. And we'll hug the knees back into the chest. And just let the knees fall off to the right. This is our supine twist pose. The hips are stacking here. So for some of us, a little support can make all the difference under that right knee. So I'm going to take a blanket and just place it underneath my right leg. And the left arm, you can open out to the side. Maybe your chest rotates up toward the ceiling. You can give a little bump up to the right shoulder and lower it down to give a little more space. And the head will turn off to the left. Just take a breath in and out. Release any muscles that are efforting here that you can let go of. And coming back to center, let's switch sides. So you can take your blanket or pillow off to the left. We'll sway the knees over to the left here. And a nice little tip here is the more you draw the knees, I'll do this side again so you can see. The more you draw the knees up high towards that underarm, the more of a support and release you're going to get for your digestive system. So if you're working with any digestive issues, this is a really nice way to really work and support and nourish your digestive system. So just drawing your knees as high up to that right underarm or left underarm as you can. And inviting a couple deep breaths. Great, come back to center. Let's work our way back up to a seated shape. And from here, we'll take one more posture. This will be our child's pose. So this is a really great grounding posture, great for just feeling more centered, more grounded, calming the mind, the body. So in this pose, we'll take the knees wider than the hips, and the big toes come toward each other or together. We're sending the hips back toward the heels, and the arms walk out. So walking the hands out long, forehead lands to your yoga mat or the floor. Now, a couple things to mention as you're coming into this shape. If your forehead is not comfortably landing to the floor, no problem. You can take a blanket or a pillow and place it underneath your forehead to bring the mat or the floor a little closer. You can also take your blanket and put it between your heels and your seat, and you might find that invites the posture to be more comfortable for you. So this posture normally is pretty accessible for most bodies, but anatomically, sometimes just the way our bones are stacked, it's just not, and that's totally fine. But often there are ways we can modify and make adjustments to make it feel more supportive. So feel free to get creative, supporting your head, supporting between your hips and your heels. See if anything like that would help make it more nourishing for you. And once you come into the posture, we're really just inviting a release here. Letting the belly hang heavy, softening through the face and the throat. If you feel comfortable in child's pose, a nice option is to take the hands and walk them off to the right. And then let the head rest back down. So you're coming into more of a lateral stretch here, stretching through the left side body. And think about flooding that left side of the body with breath here as you inhale. And exhale to let it go. And we'll lock the hands, taking the other side over the left, release the head down. Really working that right side body. Big breath in and out. And back to center. Let's work our way back to our seated shape. And end with a little pause just as we started. Just coming into your breath. Sometimes these pauses can be really challenging because we're just not used to being present to just ourselves. But having a balance of being versus doing is really important. So just taking the time to connect to the breath in your seats and just feeling supported here. Let's just take a breath in and let something go as you exhale. Let your shoulders release. One more time, in and out. Thank you. I hope these postures are helpful for you at times that maybe you just need a little movement or a release of some sort. So thank you very much, and look forward to offering you more in the future.